Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. Strangle your demons and let's go.
Y'all need Jesus!
Look at the stars and how they shine for you, and everything you do. Yeah, they were all yellow. Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. I am your host, Eric Hellberg, and you know we're like Einstein over here, man. We have no special talents at all. In fact, take special out of your vocabulary. That is your quickest way to self-growth. Stop thinking you are special. You have innate gifts, you have abilities, you have gumption, you have the ability to proceed, work, and strive. But when you lose the regard for yourself that you are special, well, then you see others as equal. Moreover, you realize you must continue to work and strive. Because of some label, you are not going to be given anything. And all of us are only as good as our last performance, no matter what it is. We're all replaceable. We all go bye-bye. Drop special off so that you can grow to something even better. But yes, man, living life in a day. And we're getting this week started. Not really sure where we want to go, but I have some ideas. One of my episodes is going to be called Mississippi Fuck You. Now you're thinking, oh, damn, Eric, you're getting derogatory on the state of Mississippi. No, I love Mississippi. Some of my best work has been done in that state. So I am going to highlight a sentiment, a thought process whereby someone was told, F you, and I was called in to make good on the deal. Many times, multiple times, all the times. Not just in that state, but in many others. We're going to get into a few relationship things, but the world is ablaze, so let's start there. Good old Zelensky's back on TV. I think he is in one of his Hanes OD green t-shirts, of which he has 3. I know he has someone who launders them. And he is requesting a new Iron Dome missile system, kind of like the one over in Israel. Or Israel also has the Arrow and David system that is supplemented with our Patriot batteries, supplemented with British and French and our aircraft. But despite all that and the purportedly congruent Iron Dome system in Israel, missiles still rain down. In fact, they were still getting by the Patriots with the rudimentary Scuds in the first Gulf War. Now, why the hell was Saddam shooting them into Israel? Well, he wanted to make it a bigger Arab conflict. Thank God we were willing, or I should say Israel was willing to heed our advice and abstain, despite it not being their nature. Now, let's begin with this. We know that the Jews are God's chosen people. We know that the Lord made covenant with the Jewish race. But that does not mean there's some exalted beings, does it? They have as much free will as us. They have as much ego as us. They have as many flaws as us. We're all one and the same, but that is the origin story. And I will tell you, without that free will and ego, they wouldn't have been allowed to be enslaved. And despite seeing miracle after miracle, they remained wayward and wandered around in the desert, complaining and balking and doing all kinds of crap, worshiping idols, doing everything they possibly could to turn their back on our Lord. Okay, it happens. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I think BiBi over there, and you know, this is part of the tenets of the difference between Judaism and Christianity, right? The aspect of the Messiah, and it is a very big one. So I think BiBi and those guys can play politics all they want. But I think they're still stuck in a little bit of that Old Testament covenant, an eye for an eye. And I know they have a bloodlust for Iran. Now you've been told that Iran has a bloodlust for Israel. Maybe. Maybe not. They are super powerful. The reasons we couldn't intercept all of those missiles coming through despite all of the technology of 4 combined countries is those targeting acquisition systems. Their deterrent systems are very, very advanced, and they have the ability to launch multitudes of them at different trajectories, at different speeds. And despite all of our technology, despite all of our purported largesse, we couldn't stop them. Now, we're told that they were all stopped, but they weren't all stopped. I've heard that directly from people on the ground in Israel. Now, I'm going to say that what Israel did was exactly what they thought would get us more involved, which means sometimes Israel doesn't give a F about us. Yes, they have some sophisticated, for simplicity, computer systems, targeting systems, software systems of their own origin, some weapon systems, but most of that stuff comes from us. But they thought that if they simply targeted Hamas leaders, we would be really happy. But they did it on sovereign Iranian soil. And everyone's like, well, what's the big deal? Well, they did it in Syria. And if they knew those leaders of Hamas were there at the embassy consulate in Syria, then they've been following them. They have good intel. They could have killed them elsewhere, but they wanted to involve Iran in the hopes of escalating this so we would immediately grab their ass and say, we'll follow you right into this war. Let's go get them now. We've been wanting to do this for 40 years. Well, we can't afford to do that now. I don't know if we could have afforded to do it then. We kind of have our hands full, and you're talking about a massive onslaught of bloodshed as we start rolling in that America doesn't have the stomach for, because this will be monumental, epic, as the libs say. So Iran knew exactly what it was doing by retaliating back into Israel, but not trying to further provoke our interest by not targeting anything beholden to us. So Israel, you're going to have to go it alone, man. Yes, indeed. We can't afford it. We can't afford it in lives. We can't afford it in money. You will have to go it alone. And just like we lamented the fact that we kicked the Russian bear by putting in a puppet government and hoping that the EU would simply comply with our wishes and try to take Putin out, well, we've now kicked, hell, I don't know what's in Iran. We've kicked the Iranian bear. Did you know that Hamas is funded and supported logistically by Turkey? You want Turkey involved in this deal too? You did not have to target Hamas. Target them anywhere you want, but not in Iran's consulate. That was a dumb move, but you tried to provoke them. You tried to spur us on. And this time, Israel, your ego, your free will, your hubris has gotten you what you deserve. So where am I going with this? Where I began. Take the specialness out, Israel. You're not entitled to anything. You know I'm an ardent supporter. I've touched upon that in past episodes, but you're wrong here. You should have no expectation of anything. Just do your job. You crossed the line this time, and now you're expecting others to bail you out. You did it irrespective of your own people. They do not want war with Iran. But the leadership does. Sounds familiar, right? We're not getting what the people truly want. Only what a small faction thinks is best for us. And it typically is extremely destructive and detrimental, as we have to pay for it, and it is pushed down our throats. Let's stop being special, and let's start being right. So until next time on the Comfortable in Chaos podcast, I bid you bon voyage, my burgeoning flock.
Until next time, like and subscribe to the Comfortable in Chaos podcast.